education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The people's voice. Make your voice count.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti, and you're watching BOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Ika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Hello there, my name is Damilola Ogunsi, also known as the Goldfish.
Hi, my name is Chiki Bright Emmanuel. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello peeps, my name is Yomi E. Adejimo.
Hi everyone, I'm Paul Utomi.
Hi everyone, my name is Stacey Benjamin, and this is Voice of the People TV.
I need you to keep it locked to VOP TV. See, are you looking for good entertainment? You want to get good movies, good music, politics, talk shows, sports and entertainment. You really want a channel that gives you everything you need without you having to run around. VOP is where you are. That's Voice of the People.
If you're not listening to this, you're not one of us, and you deserve to be killed. Scrap charge. Don't be killed, but watch it, or I'll find you. And I want you.
And you are locked on VOP TV. Don't go nowhere. This is where the juice is. This is where all you need for entertainment, politics, movies, and whatnot.
And keep watching VOP TV.
So keep it locked, because I'm locked already, man, and it's money back guarantee. So you're gonna have a good time, because I do.
And please keep watching VOP TV.
I won't turn to you actually. I beg you, subscribe, watch it. If not, whatever you see.
You better not touch that dial, because VOP is the plot.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
Voice of the People, you can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikena Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
2564 is coming up on 49, right? 2564 Atlantic County.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings?
Hello and welcome to the Media News on Voice of the People television. I am Fina Okechukwu.
And I am David Edwin.
Before we begin the news, kindly visit the website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. The headlines. CUPP ADC Flay Senate's bow and go screening at National.
Federal government approves 94,000 new security services enlistments.
USA's $1.8 billion lost yearly to Nigeria-linked fraud.
Southern governors, PDP mourns Bayelsa deputy governor.
Court dashes sacked Osun APC chairman's bid for council fund.
In the world of business, CBN to create short code for complaint resolution.
In sports, Shell drops Okoye Arokodare from Eagles final list.
In entertainment, NOA, NBC to implement 70% indigenous cartoon content policy.
Now to the news and details. The Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, has condemned as a lack of diligence to national interest the Senate's bow and go treatment to ambassadorial nominees during their screening. Among the beneficiaries of the matter, Dreno Mokere Femi Fani Kayode and former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Cupp. According to the CPP National Secretary, Peter Ame, the bow and go treatment given to these nominees is a glaring display of the Senate's lack of commitment to diligently address issues of national interest and security. It stated that the approach reveals a troubling spinelessness in pursuing due diligence and accountability to Nigerian people. Also, the African Democratic Congress ADC said the Senate trivialized the ambassadorial screening process by allowing several nominees to simply take a bow and go during Thursday's session. According to the ADC National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, the Senate's handling of the exercise undermined the seriousness expected when selecting individuals who will present Nigeria internationally.
Away from that report, the federal government says it will recruit over 94,000 new personnel into Nigeria's security services as part of measures to tackle the rise in insecurity across the country. In a statement to that effect, the head of protocol and public affairs, Toti Kalu, explained that under the plan, the Police Service Commission and the Nigerian Police Force will recruit 50,000 police constables. It added that the recruitment portal will open to eligible Nigerians from December the 15th, 2025 to January the 25th, 2026. According to the statement, the recruitment follows a presidential directive aimed at strengthening community policing, enhancing internal security, and expanding the manpower base of the Nigerian police force. It further stated that GCE ordinary level, SSCE, NECO or equivalent, with at least 5 credits, including English language and mathematics, in no more than 2 sittings is required for the general duty cadre applicants. For the specialist cadre applicants, a minimum of 4 credits, including English and mathematics, also in no more than 2 sittings, and at least 3 years of experience and relevant trade test certifications are required.
In another development, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Toga, says that Nigeria's internal security challenges cannot be separated from wider regional crisis, warning that instability in neighboring states directly fuels insecurity at home. In a ministerial briefing of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, in Abuja, Togo said that Nigeria must intervene when nearby countries face threats to democratic stability, including the recent attempted coup in the Republic of Congo, saying that the ripple effect inevitably reached Nigeria. According to Toga, insecurity in Nigeria mirrors the wider instability across the Sahel and Lake Chad Basin, driven by conflict, terrorism, and the flow of fighters and weapons across borders. Against this background, he said Nigeria will not be doing itself any good if it does not help Benin Republic in tackling its problems decisively, although Nigerians are asking why we didn't see such swift movement also in likes of Mali, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso.
In the meantime, the United States government has raised fresh concerns over Nigeria's rising cybercrime profile, stating that Nigeria linked fraud cases over $1.8 billion annual losses, with most victims based in the U.S. Speaking at a public presentation of the Nigeria Cybercrime Assessment Report in Abuja, the director of U.S. Embassy's International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs Office, Dr. Douglas Gray, said that Nigeria now ranks 5th globally among top sources of online fraud. Gray explained that the assessment, which is funded by the U.S. Department of State, aims to strengthen Nigeria's ability to fight cybercrimes while protecting citizens both at home and abroad. He warned that cybercrimes erode confidence in digital systems, discourage digital investment, and undermine the integrity of global financial services and public services. He added that given its global nature, the actions of criminals in one country can inflict heavy damage on individuals and businesses all around the globe.
The Oyo State High Court in Ibadan has struck out an application by the sacked Osun State Local Government Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, to overturn the orders freezing the disputed council funds with the United Bank for Africa. The former chairman, listed only as persons affected, has sought leave to challenge an ex parte order of September 26, 2025, which froze the funds, and to reverse the order. The dismissed officials argued that the freezing directive had paralyzed grassroots governance across the state and breached the provision of the 1999 Constitution. The minister in the application, Justice Ladiron Akintola, ruled that it was entirely without merit, stating that the sacked chairman were strangers to the seat, having previously withdrawn the application to be joined as parties.
Moving on, a federal high court of the Federal Capital Territory at Gwarinpa has remanded the former Minister of Labor and Employment, Chris Ngige, in Kuje prison. Justice Mayam Hassan issued the remand order after the erstwhile minister pleaded not guilty to an 8-count charge that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, referred to against him. The court held that he should remain in detention until Monday, when his bail application will be heard. Ngige, who was in the office of the minister from November 11, 2015 to May 29, 2023, is facing trial over his alleged complicity in contract fraud totaling over 2.2 billion naira.
Still on fraud allegations, an aide of the former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has described as misleading and contrary to the fact the allegations that his principal violated his bail conditions. In a statement by Mohammed Doka, the Special Assistant on Media Affairs to Malami, the office stated that the only reason for Malami's bail withdrawal was his attendance at the political event in Kebbi State, contrary to the report by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. According to the statement, Malami had duly complied with the bail requirements earlier set by the EFCC over allegations of money laundering and abuse of office, even as he has repeatedly denied those allegations. It added that the EFCC later introduced fresh restrictions, including a ban on media interviews and a prohibition on participating in political activities in Kebbi State. Doka further argued that the political restriction on Malami was unconstitutional and amounted to an infringement on his freedom of movement, association, and political participation.
Moving on to other stories, the Southern Governors Forum has mourned as shocking and painful the passing of Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Lawrence Ehiojapo. Ehiojapo reportedly slumped in his office at the government's house in Yenegua and was rushed to the intensive care unit of the Federal Medical Center, where he was later pronounced dead. In a statement, the Ogun State Governor and Chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, Dapo Abiodun, noted that Ehiojapo collapsed during official duties and had apparently defied illness to serve the people of Bayelsa State. He further commiserated with Governor Drew Deary, family and friends of the deceased, and all Bayelsans over his passing. Also, the People's Democratic Party said that Ehiojapo's passing has thrown the entire party, particularly members in Bayelsa State, into profound grief. In a statement by his National Publicity Secretary, Ini Ememobong, the PDP described the late Deputy Governor as an honest and consistent politician who embodied principles, conviction, and integrity throughout his public life.
The Nigerian Immigration Service, NIS, has announced a temporary service disruption on its passport digital platform for routine maintenance. A public notice on its X handle stated that the maintenance will run from 12 a.m. on December 12 to 6 a.m. on December 14, 2025. It added that during this period, users will experience temporary service interruption, slow response times, or limited access to selected internet passport services. According to the statement, the exercise is aimed at enhancing system performance and improving overall user experience. The NIS further urged users who require assistance during the maintenance period to contact its support team via email or through its official social media handles. You're still watching the Media News and Voice of the People television. It's time for the Media News analysis, and we have joining us virtually a member of Take It Back movement and former House of Assembly candidate for the AAC, Ismail Oladare. Good afternoon, Ismail Oladare. Good to have you join today's Media News.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for having me today.
All right, without wasting much time, let's start off with the last story that we just read about the disruption that is expected to occur due to the routine maintenance, which was announced by the NIS, saying it's a temporary one. And the reason for that is they want to put their service together for them to be able to serve Nigerians well digitally. What do you have to say about this and the fact that, people were applauding the Minister of Interior over the fact that, the getting off passport at this point is very easy and swift. So you can do that from the comfort of your home and go for capture without the other bottlenecks or, other things that Nigerians were being subjected to prior to this time.
Yeah, I feel like, for every good thing this administration are trying to do, the problem is always the fact that they don't see it to the later. Like when this administration came in and, they roll out this new passport platform. And, of course, a lot of people were, commending the initiative and, testifying to the fact that it is now very smooth and easy to get and all of those things. But then in the midst of that, we still have people, because, I follow that conversation on Twitter a lot. And we still have people complaining about, the personnel of these agencies who make it difficult for them to still get it whenever they go for the pickup and things like that. And the way they always favor their friends or people who can pay for what they call express. So when you go for pickup and you see a lot of people there, but if you can pay for express, they attend to you faster. When you are a big man or you are a politically exposed person, they attend to you faster and all of those things. So I said that to say that when we have a new things, initiative like this that are 2025 compliant, and people are praising you, you need to now go down to your own staffs to see those of them who are making this initiative get negative reactions out there. Because like we all know, for every agency, we have the good and the ugly. So you must now go after the ugly people in your agency to make sure that this thing that you are trying to do, there are no people charging the effort, right? So for me, yeah, and this has been my criticism over the years, over the past 1 year at least, that this is the new passport platform is good because I've experienced it too, and I commend that. But then that aspect of people still trying to make personal gains out of that platform should also be addressed. And whatever these new pen, this thing is now suspension is now for, we hope that when they now come back online again, all other negative reactions and feedbacks will already be tackled. We genuinely hope that will be tackled. And that's my honest opinion.
Particular conversation, and I want to find out from you. There's been the conversation about the fact that people, Nigerians in the civil service, are allegedly vastly corrupt, and thus the reason why the civil service does not function the way it's supposed to function, even like you would see in some other saner clime. And you also did mention that some persons in that same agency ask for some level of money so that this thing we fast-tracked. I'm talking about the passport itself. How do you think this can be curbed on the part of government and, of course, on the part of that ministry?
Yeah, this is why for every trouble or every problem Nigeria is going through, I always try to refer people to our own party manifesto. That's the African Action Congress manifesto, because there is literally none of the problem facing Nigeria as a government or as an institution that we have not talked about how to provide tangible solutions to all of these problems. Regarding civil service or civil servants and the corruption therein, which to a large percent is responsible for all the malfunction in Nigerian governance, right? We've extensively and espoused our ideas on how to tackle this problem. Number one is to, digitalize every aspect of our MDAs, ministries, departments, agencies. We must digitalize every aspect of their functionability, right? Like, for instance, the issue of ghost workers. We made mention that there should be a retina scan in offices, all of the offices of our agencies, such that if you can't do a retina scan, you don't have access to any office. When you are being paid, if you cannot use your thumbprint, you cannot be paid. This eliminates the issue of ghost workers by 90%, right? And when back to the issue of this passport issue now, when you now digitalize everything, it makes it very, very, to at least 90% very difficult for your staffs to even have a thought of corruption at all. Because when you digitalize it, people can be able to monitor the progress of whatever they are trying to do. Like, I want to collect my passport. From the moment I register to the moment I do my scanning and all of those things, I can monitor the progress. And when it is ready, I can monitor the progress, and I can even order for it to be delivered to my house, so I don't have to go there. right? I can send my own dispatch. You can provide your own dispatch. Everything should be digitalized like that. This is 2025. 2026 already.
Do you
So
think that Nigeria is ripe for such digitalization? Because INEC told Nigerians that the reason we cannot go all out to have electronic voting and all that is the fact that some parts of Nigeria still are staying without internet supply. They don't even have electricity supply to start with and all the basic amenities. Do you think we're ripe for such digitalization? And if we are, yet we're not there, what then do you think should be the reason we are lagging behind in such an important move?
Go to that aspect, because when people say Nigeria is not ripe, what they are really telling you is that Nigeria government is not ripe. And why is Nigeria government not ripe? Our leaders are not ripe. So that means that we need to elect ripe leaders. What I mean is that if you are saying that because some villages or some communities don't have access to internet, so it is difficult to now say we want to digitalize, then you now ask yourself, what is the reason why these communities don't have internet in 2025? What is the reason why they don't have? Because as a business owner, if you want to expand your business to a place where they don't have a facility that your business needs, what you first of all do is to provide that facility in that premises before you start operating there, right? So in 2025, it is a shame that we are even saying that some communities or several communities don't even have internet, don't even have electricity. It is a government shame, right? The government cannot provide something as basic as electricity or internet across Nigeria, right? So it is government failure, right? And this is what we are doing. These are the reasons why government should have, been successful in those areas, just so that it won't be a reason for us not to now be able to digitalize our process in those because of those areas, right? So it boils down back to government failure. So that shouldn't be an excuse whatsoever. We should go digital. So whichever community doesn't have electricity or doesn't have internet, government should and must provide it.
All right, let's take this conversation to another level. Well, interestingly, there's a story about former AGF's aide, I'm talking about Malami now, that have said that the bill that was revoked, I'm talking about his boss now, was practically political. And again, he cited several reasons. One of the reasons that he cited was that there was also a restriction on the person of Malami not to grant interviews on social media, particularly to media. Hence, that investigation was still on. You would also recall that Malami was clearly speaking and, of course, said that the part of money laundering and abuse of office that were alleged on him was not what the EFCC invited him for. But questions are being raised. If you are not being invited for this kind of conversation, why is your passport still with the EFCC? But then again, let's talk about the revoking of his bail conditions. What do you make of it?
First off, if a competent court of jurisdiction has granted you bail, there's no reason why that bill should be revoked. For everything that Malami might be guilty of, there must be justice, and it must be seen to have been done. At the end of the day, I am of the opinion that Malami should rot in jail. But then there is a process, and that process must be followed to the letter, right? But then it is also understandable that a lot of Nigerians, when they see one of their adversaries going through injustice, they will applaud it. It is understandable. This Malami was a champion of injustice when he was the Attorney General. He was a champion of injustice.
What injustice do you refer to?
Me. Yeah, he denied people like me, myself, injustice when he arrested us during the EndSARS because we were leading a peaceful protest. He arrested us, detained us for weeks. So it will be emotionally good for people like us to now say, no, anything that is facing, any injustice that Malami is facing, it is deserved. But because we are ideologically grounded, we understand the nitty-gritty of injustice. So injustice there, it is threatening justice over here as well. So we don't, run political discourse with emotions. We understand that. We believe that Malami is a crook, is a thief, is a garbage, is a purveyor of injustice.
Well, these are your position. These are your positions.
Yeah,
the position of VOP TV.
Our opinion.
But then, what I want to find out from you, now, is the fact that his bail conditions was revoked based on the fact that he attended a political event in Kebbi State. Should that be a strong enough reason why a bail condition that was granted to him can be revoked?
No, it shouldn't be. Honestly, it shouldn't be. Right? It shouldn't be. And, the reason why they are also coming out to say this is because they also understand that when they were in government, when Malami was the Attorney General, this is how they operate as well.
So you think that this is more like him reaping from where he sowed, because he was the boss of EFCC, as of the time when he was the Attorney General of the Federation, and now EFCC is paying him back in his coin. Is that what you're trying to say, Mr. Ismail Ladare?
Exactly. But we understand that two wrongs doesn't make a right. But this is exactly what is happening. It shouldn't be, but it is what is happening.
Okay,
right?
Then what do you make of the fact that Ngige, who was a former, a senator and also a former minister,
former governor
as well, have been reprimanded in Kuje prison after a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory at Gwarimpa, judged after the Justice Miriam Hassan issued a remand order for the minister, even though he pleaded not guilty over the 8-count charge brought against him by the Economic and Financial Commission about 2 point something billion naira being misused when he was a Minister of Labour.
Yeah, the fact is, all these guys are crooks. They are all thieves. So the problem now is that they witch hunt each other when they are not in alliance again. And this is what Ngige is facing now. For what Ngige has done or allegedly done, there are people who have done ×5 or ×10 of that who are working freely because they are still in alliance. Their interest is still aligning. The moment, look at the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, with 12 billion naira allegation on his neck, he's still a free man today, right? Because his interest still aligned with the governments of the day. So this is what we see in this republic when injustice is as a matter of who you are with or who you are aligned with. That's the level of justice or injustice that you will get in this country. So Ngige might be, guilty of everything they are alleging, and just like every other one of them in power, they are all guilty of all of these things. So it is not a surprise that Ngige is facing this and is in detention or wherever.
At what point do you think the fight against corruption in Nigeria will get to, and people will not perceive it to be a political witch hunt or a personal vendetta? Because, you just say something about the former AGM receiving his own coin or being paid back on a coin that he dished out because he arrested people who protested the hashtag #EndSARS, who were protesting the hashtag #EndSARS then over the police brutality. And, though some of them were granted bail, some died. Even today, the likes of a former Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, was of the opinion that no one died. There was no massacre, And now we're getting the former governor of Anambra State and also a former minister being sent to Kuje for 2.2 billion naira misappropriation. At what point do you think that Nigeria, when they fight corruption, wouldn't be perceived as a personal vendetta or political witch hunt?
Yeah, it is quite interesting that I had this conversation with another online radio yesterday. And, my point is that it's at the point when Nigeria realized that there are genuine people who don't miscarry in justice in whatever form, right? So look at a person like Omoyele Sowore, for instance. For every bad thing the police have done to him, killed him, tried to kill him, made him, injure him, and all of those things, torture him for decades, he still fought for them. And it was the reason why they were removed from that pension, illegal and fraudulent pension scheme recently. Right? So when you can have such person that for whatever you've done to them, they will still fight for you when you are facing injustice. That is when people can trust you that whatever you do, it is not a witch hunt. It is not a miscarriage of justice. But until we have such people in power, there will be no trust between the government and the people. And for every good thing you try to do, people will see you as doing it for the wrong reasons. And that's a fact.
All right, then. Well, let's take this conversation to something that I think a lot of Nigerians, particularly young Nigerians, should, of course, get to find out. The U.S. is saying that over $1.8 billion is lost yearly to Nigerian-linked fraud. I'm talking about cybercrime now. And interestingly, this is coming from a presentation on cybercrime assessment report in Abuja. Now, the director of the U.S. Embassy International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs did say that Nigeria now ranks 5th globally among top sources of online fraud. What's your position with these kind of conversation? And you know, in this part of the world, we call it Yahoo Yahoo, as it were.
You see, the problem with our people is a lot of people don't understand the global Yahoo Yahoo, which is like a grandfather to the Yahoo Yahoo we see in Nigeria. Firstly, this is not in any way defending the internet fraud going on within our youths in Nigeria, but places or countries like USA don't have that moral right to even accuse Nigeria for whatever data they are presenting as the most fraudulent country. The most fraudulent street in the USA, the Wall Street, is times 10 more fraudulent than the entire Africa, right? So this is saying that as far as we understand that there is a widespread and prevalent level of internet fraudsters that we call Yahoo Yahoo in this part of the world. There are times 10 such syndicates in the USA alone, in a street called Wall Street alone.
Well, I like the fact that you have said, you are not validating these acts of cybercrime. But what I would want you to clearly talk to is the fact that Nigeria is ranked 5th. And then my question now would be, how can the government do better so as not to continue to progress in error? Because this, we would want to say it's not a child's play. It also would be affecting our global perception, don't you think so? So how can we navigate this particular situation and bring it to book?
Yeah, I think you see, from our own perspective and understanding, everything is dialectical. We understand that whether it is a fraud among the people, and this is not even among the governments now, fraudulent activities going on among the people, corruption, insecurity, robbery, and all of those petty thieving among the people. The most important thing in solving this problem is the socio-economic problem that is prevalent in the country. Right? I am a youth myself, and I am a community organizer. And, I interface on a daily basis with young Nigerians. So I can say for a fact, I understand very well the material condition of our people. And it is important to understand why people commit crime, why young people are going into fraud, why young people are going into internet fraud. And it is our government's inability to provide a justifiable social economy that can, make our people productive and can make them utilize their ability, their capacity, and their talent to better their own lives. So they don't have that enabling environment to thrive. They had to, and it is a psychological human behavior. They try to look for every available means, whether it's prostitution or fraud, to survive. And this is what is happening. So you can't, dialectically speaking, you can't not clamp down on fraudulent activities. What you must do is to attend to the major reason why this is now seen as, because if you go into communities in Nigeria today, people don't even see this Yahoo as a crime anymore. They talk about it freely. They see you are not into it and not making money. They see you as somebody who doesn't have brain. You don't understand what you should be doing with your life, because it is now being glorified. Right? So you can't clamp down on it, because it is more like a culture now.
Okay.
What you must do is to provide alternative economy for the people so that they don't see that as an alternative.
Thank you so much. Before we let you go, we'd like to get your opinion on what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have made Nigerians understand about the links that Nigeria is having with what is playing out, the Benin coup and all that. In the words of Toga, Minister of Foreign Affairs, he says that Nigeria's internal security challenge cannot be separated from wider regional crisis, warning that instability in neighboring state directly fuels insecurity at home. And, this comes as Nigerians are reacting about the swift movement of the Air Force and also soldiers, foot soldiers, into Benin Republic to help quell the coup that some military personnel decided to carry out. Let's also look at what played out within our neighbors, also those in Niger Republic, when they have a junta leader taking over the government there. Why don't you see such swift move again, into Niger? Why is it just in Benin Republic? And what do you make of the excuse being given by government on their swift move into Niger and the foil of that coup?
I mean, it's quite interesting that, just like USA, the people who propagate democracy the most, they are the best violators of democratic tenets. Why USA is across the globe trying to, quote unquote, stabilize democracy, they are the purveyors of anti-democratic principles and actions. Tinubu government is saying that they sent troops to Benin to stop a military takeover. But in their own backyard here, in their own country here, all their actions for the past 2.5 years they've been in power has been nothing short of anti-democratic actions. So for such a person or such a government, it is impossible for people to now believe that you love democracy so much, and this is why you are sending troops to Benin Republic to stop a purported coup, right? So it is just counterintuitive or counter-revolutionary, a thing to do. But it is also understandable that the president of Benin, Tula, is not any way different from the president of Nigeria, Tinubu. So Tinubu is mirroring himself in Benin Republic president, because everything he has been doing is what that president has been doing too, and the consequences that is coming out for him is seeing it as consequences that he might also face.
When you say what he's been doing, when you say what he's been doing, help Nigerians understand what you mean by that. You did say what the president of Nigeria is doing is what, of course, the Benin Republic president is doing. What exactly do you mean by that?
Talking about their policies, and the dividend of the so-called democracy they are bringing to their people, right? So this is what I mean by it. They are doing almost the same thing. They are making life miserable for their people, right? And we've also heard from our close allies from Benin Republic that most of this, just like the one in Guinea-Bissau some weeks ago, is even a more planned and orchestrated attempt by the incumbents not to leave power because their presidential election is in 4 months away. It's 4 months away, right? So they are doing all this to destabilize the whole electioneering processes. And whatever is now the case or whatever is right, we believe that they don't have the interests of the people at heart. Whether they are propagating democracy or coup, they don't have the interests of their people.
All right, then. Thank you so very much, Mr. Ismail Oladare, member, Take It Back movement, and former House of Assembly candidate of the AAC. Thank you so very much for being a part of this conversation.
Thank you for having me. Have a lovely day.
You too. But we also have to state here that the position of our analyst is not the position of Voice of the People Media as a station. We'll take a very short break right now. When we return, Edo residents urge government to regulate December public gathering. These and more we'll be bringing to you after the break. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. Still the Media News and Voice of the People television. Residents of Edo State are urging government authorities to tighten security at public gatherings this December amid rising concerns over crime. With report of theft, violent clashes and other criminal activities, residents fear large festive events could become easy targets if adequate measures are not enforced. Voice of the People's television correspondent in Benin City, Rodo Johnny has more in this report.
Authorities to regulate public gatherings this December, citing growing concerns over rising insecurity in the state. Community members warn that large events and gatherings could become targets for criminal activities if proper security measures are not enforced.
I cannot say because of insecurity that events should not be held. The government should do their best providing security. So like in other parts of the nation that the short schools is not the best. What will happen to our children are their education. So the government should do a lot of work in order to provide security for large gatherings.
It is the responsibility of security agents to make sure they keep the environment safe. What I expect the government to do and every citizen is for us to be vigilant. At this critical time, we cannot leave the issue of security in the hands of government. We should all put our hands together to make sure our environment and our society is safe for us to live in.
According to locals, recent incidents of thefts, violent clashes, and other criminal activities have heightened fears, particularly during festive periods when public gatherings are more frequent. Many residents urge both state and local authorities to step up security and ensure that events are closely monitored.
I don't think it can be entirely stopped because some gatherings are gatherings for happiness, like marriages and other celebrations, baby dedications and all of that. So I just feel that the government should put a curfew that no gathering should be above 6 p.m., 7 p.m. and it should be security tight, and it should also be a place that people can see each other, not in hidden venues too. Or you can do a closed door activities where you are very sure that nothing can happen to you and your guests in that particular place.
Authorities are yet to release an official statement, but residents insist that early intervention is necessary to prevent incidents during the busy holiday season. In Benin, Rhoda Johnny, VOP TV News.
Thank you so much, Brother Johnny, for that wonderful coverage. Now to some business stories. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says it is working with the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, to create an industry-wide short code that will enable consumers communicate with their financial institutions anytime, anywhere, with or without internet access. This was disclosed by the CBN Director, Consumer Protection and Financial Inclusion Department, Dr. Aisha Issa Olatiwo, during a virtual consumer protection town hall meeting organized by the Enhancing Financial Inclusion and Advancement. She noted that given the rapid transformation of the Nigerian financial landscape, which now cuts across both telecom and banking sectors, consumers often struggle to know where to lodge complaints. According to her, the CBN's major concern is vulnerable consumers who do not have internet access or who use feature phones and are forced to physically visit their financial institutions when faced with challenges. Against this background, Issa Olatiwo said the Apex Bank has also streamlined its processes and are partnering banks and industry protectors, adding that the objective is to safeguard financial system stability.
And from business, we'll go straight to talking sports. Goalkeeper Francis Zoho, Trabzonspor of Turkey striker Paulo Nacho have been recalled for the Super Eagles 2025 African Cup of Nations duty in Morocco. Coach Eric Sikuchel confirmed this in a 28-man squad, which comprises 3 goalkeepers, 8 defenders, 8 midfielders, and 9 forwards. The Continental Attorney is scheduled for December the 21st, 2025 to January the 18th, 2026. However, notable names like Maduka Okoye, Victor Boniface, Tolu Aroko Dare were dropped in the list, which also features several fresh faces across all departments, including Croatia-based striker Lawal Salim Fago. In defense, Blackburn Rovers fullback Ryan Aleogusu got his maiden call-up, while Slavia Prague centre-back Igor Obu also made the squad as the coach attempts to strengthen the backline. The midfield got a youthful injection with Inter Milan's prospect and Remo Stars Academy graduate Ebenezer Akinsamiro joining the fold, accompanied by Israel-based Osman Mohammed and former Flying Eagles midfielder Tochukwu Nadi.
In entertainment story, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Lanre Saonilu, has inaugurated a 7-member NOA and BCA joint committee to develop a framework for the nationalization of cartoons aired in Nigeria. This follows the 2024 Federal Executive Council's approval of a policy requiring that at least 70% of cartoon content broadcast in the country must be Nigerian. At the inauguration, Issa Onilu described cartoons as powerful tools that shape children's worldview. He lamented that Nigerian screens have long been dominated by foreign content that does not reflect local realities. Issa Onilu urged the committee to carry out its task with discipline and transparency. Representing the NBC, Director of Broadcast Policy and Research, Stella, said the Commission would revise the Nigerian Broadcasting Code to mandate indigenous cartoon content.
And with that particular entertainment story, we've come to the end of the media news right here on Voice of the People Television. Do also subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube at Voice of the People TV, and on all other social media platforms we are at VOP TV Live. Coming up next at the top of the hour is Spotlight with Precious Agumanu. I am David Edwin.
And I am Fina Okechukwu. Thanks for watching. Do have a good afternoon.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.